TCI family, join me in congratulating Chris for being January's Member of the Month. Chris, congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, basically, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. What do you want the people to know? Like, what do you do? What class times you come to? How long you been coming to
I
TCF?
do. I work in software development. I enjoy that. I've been doing that for about 20 years. As far as class times, I
Come to like all of them?
I kind of mix it up. I'll do 5 a.m. for a bit, but I can only last about 3 or 4 days doing that. And I think I haven't been to the 9:30 class, but all the rest I've been to. So.
Yeah. You pretty much it's like you'll show up either early morning or really any of.
I've probably seen every single member in the gym by coming to all those classes, right?
Yeah.
Because you got particular people that go to certain ones.
Yeah, you're one of the few that literally comes to all the different class times, and most everybody they pick one and then that's it. Cool, man. And how long have you been coming to TCF and doing CrossFit?
I think we started in October of last year, because Jean was going before I was, and then she had suggested that I give it a try.
Yeah.
But then she thought, well, my busted leg, I wouldn't be able to do much. But you made sure that I was able to.
Yeah.
By tailoring some of the exercises and all that.
Yeah. So tell us what happened to your leg and everything.
I broke it skiing in March of 21. I had to stump and the ski twisted, and I heard the big crack, and it just kind of twisted the bone apart.
Yeah.
So I was out of commission for a good 5 or 6 months after that. It was way longer than I expected.
Yeah, and you said you had a spiral fracture going all the way up your
it was spiral fracture. So many doctor's visits. Tibia and fibula.
Yeah. There you go. And then so how'd that kind of progress and stuff? Like, I mean, you said you sat down or basically did nothing for 5-6 months and stuff. And
yeah, it was hard for me because I was used to doing a lot of stuff outside in the yard and that sort of thing, and it was difficult to impossible. Mm-hmm. I do a lot of landscaping and things like that, and then I was probably expecting Jean to do it, but she wasn't as happy about it. So I'd be out there crawling around doing it.
On your like a scooter or sitting on the ground, scooting around or whatever?
Mostly sitting on the ground, crawling around. It just took 5 times as long to do everything.
Oh, Lord. And so before the skiing accident and stuff, you kind of have mentioned that you like to run, and you actually ran the Boston Marathon.
I ran that in 2006 with one of my coworkers.
Yeah.
And that was pretty good, and I was determined. I think it took me about 4 hours and 10 minutes to do it.
Yeah.
Then I registered for another one a month later because I wanted to get under 4 hours, and it still took like 4 hours and 8 minutes. So,
geez.
Yeah.
All that work and then just 2 minutes faster.
Yeah, it's just hard to get under that time. So, but it was a pretty good. I did it with a training club, and we would meet every Saturday, and so did that, and then I would do the gym. I would do the gym kind of on and off. I would run around the neighborhood and things just to get outside. I'm not really I wouldn't go on the treadmill or anything because I don't find that enjoyable.
Yeah.
And Jean would do it with me and sometimes the kids.
Yeah. And then, and then before that, you did a little bit of gym stuff where you said you did it for fun before you had the kids and everything, and when the kids came.
Yeah, I used to go to the gym then. When we were up in Cambridge, Massachusetts, I'd go with work, and Jean also went. That's kind of how I met her. I mean, she worked at the same place that I worked at, but we would go and work out together and stuff like that.
Yeah. So then after you got in the accident, you said that Jean brought you here?
Yeah, she was coming probably just after I had my accident. She started coming in May, I think, and she was going really hardcore with it and losing all sorts of weight and getting in shape. And then all the neighbors were commenting on like how she was losing all this weight and like what was I doing wrong, right?
And so, you're just like sitting there with your leg propped up,
yeah,
your legs broke.
Yeah. So so I'm like, oh, I better get into this then. So she got me to go to the first couple of classes, it was definitely like I felt like I need to go home and lie down for a bit. I mean, it was definitely tough.
Yeah.
But
I mean, in your case as well, I mean, you were, I mean, healed or mostly healed by then, but I mean, you still had a little bit of healing process left, and you had to really kind of be careful with your.
It was the
your leg.
impact and just the pressure on the leg, so I couldn't effectively do much running here until only recently.
Yeah,
it's
I
gotten
mean,
better.
I mean, now you're getting back into the swing of running and stuff, which is awesome. That I mean, basically
I'd almost say I'm getting close to being fully recovered, in my opinion, because fully recovered to me is being able to run a couple of miles and not be in pain. So
yeah. You're
I
gonna
think I'm
try
getting
and
pretty
run
close.
Boston Marathon again?
Nah, I think that ship sailed.
maybe
Unless
like a
they have a
5K.
seniors division or something.
Maybe like a 5K or something like that down the road, right?
Yeah.
And so what made y'all come to TCF?
I think I like the fact that it was super close to the house. Takes me 3 minutes to get here.
Yeah.
So, you don't have to drive in traffic for a half an hour to get here.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good. And I would see, I mean, when I was driving home, you'd see people running around the building and stuff. And like, what the heck are they doing there? With like, what does it look like? And
They're carrying medicine balls and sandbags and running
yeah.
dumbbells.
And then, Jean really liking it. And I'm like, I should go to that. And she's like, well, you got a bum leg. I don't think you can go to that. And then she said she talked to you. And you're like, yeah, we can make it work.
Yeah. Yeah, and then,
so,
I mean, it was great having you come in, and we scaled things around and just kind of played it by ear based on how things were feeling and stuff, because I know in the beginning squats weren't the best because that was putting a little bit too much pressure.
And that's what I liked about the workout, even just coming as someone who hasn't worked out in a while, even irregardless of the leg, was that at least you can scale the workouts, because you look at that screen over there and you're like, wow, 150 wall balls, right? I mean, that seems impossible. But in the beginning, maybe I didn't get that many done, but I just scaled, I would just scale it appropriately, get done to the time cap.
Yeah.
And then as time went on, I could get what was up on the board done in the time cap.
Maybe it was like you did lighter weight or you did just lower reps or whatever it was and work your way up.
Because I tried the initial approach of, I'm going to do whatever on the board, but I mean, I wouldn't get done in time. So
yeah.
had to adjust that approach pretty quick.
You learn, right? you learn from trial and error, right? And so how did come to the gym and stuff help out with your accident recovery?
Well, I think, so I first started working out. I don't think I was focusing on the diet as much. So I was building up muscle, but I wasn't losing as much weight. And then I decided to really focus on the diet part of it as well. So just really watching what I'm eating and stuff. And then it came off reasonably quick then, as long as, I wasn't snacking in nighttime or anything like that. So I just stayed focused on, my calorie intake. And then once you can get 5 or 10 pounds off, you have some initiative to keep going, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you don't want to gain that back.
Yeah, right. You got a little momentum going, right?
But I find for me, I got to be accountable. I got to basically weigh myself every morning, because I need to be accountable for that day. And then, because I mean, it's easier if you gain 1 or 2 pounds to lose that 1 or 2 pounds than you hop on the scale next time you're like 20 pounds heavier. So it's a lot easier, I think, when I get down to my weight, to just keep an eye on everything. And then if I notice I'm going up a pound or two, to take corrective action then.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like such a mountain then.
Yeah, exactly. And then, I mean, the cool thing about the gym and stuff is, like, you see progress in other ways, too. Like, I know when we were doing the bench press stuff, you were really excited because you didn't really
I could actually do that decent, right?
Yeah, right. Because, I mean, you were still kind of recovering from your leg, but then, like, you found the bench press, it's like a progression that we were doing, and you're like, oh, heck yeah, because it had nothing to do with your legs. You were just out there and knocking it out.
Actually do PX on something, right?
Yeah, you were out there and, like, you were just knocking it out, and you were so excited, and it's cool to watch your strength on that improve, and just with everything. I mean, now, like we talked about, you're able to run now, and I mean, we're still working on the mileage and stuff, but you're able to run, you're able to squat and add load to that. So I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, the bench press came first, and then I remember doing wall balls, slam balls, burpees, those sort of things, and they were just kind of miserable, right? And but I mean, then I found as I lost the weight and stuff that the wall balls don't bother me at all now. I don't mind them. I can crank out 30 of those now. And the way I started was I just did a lighter weight. As I lost the weight, I got up to, a number that I felt good with. Then I increased the wall ball weight. Same with the slime balls. And the burpees now, I can do, a decent amount without feeling like I'm going to die. I mean, if I had to do 100 in a row, it might be a problem, but I can at least do most of the ones recommended in the workout.
Yeah.
So that's been good. And I just last week I'm going to come to the open gym because last week I just kind of figured out how to get up the rope a bit. So with my feet. So that's the next thing I want to focus on is getting up there and not falling off.
Yeah.
But,
Well, yeah, you don't want to fall off. Yeah. that wouldn't be any good.
I figured out the technique. Imelda showed me how to wrap my foot around to step up. Mm-hmm. So that makes it a heck of a lot easier.
Yeah. Look at that, man. I mean, it's like once you, like you talking about, once you get that good momentum going, you just keep it up, and then, I mean, the sky's the limit.
And then I was doing the zombie rope climbs, but they were, way in the beginning, they were extremely brutal doing zombie rope climbs. But now I can do several in a row, and it doesn't bother me that much. That's why I figured the rope was the next transition.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like kind of what you're talking about, that progression and stuff, right? Something in the beginning maybe feels super extremely hard, then over time you get better and better at it, like the rope climbs or whatever. Now it's like, okay, let's move on to the next challenging thing and keep working on that.
And the cardio equipment too. I mean, back before when I'd work out, and you go on the rower for 10 minutes, it felt like an excruciating workout. But I learned a lot of stuff here just in doing the rower, putting more legs into it, stuff like that. And it's made such a huge difference. So, yeah, I kind of like the workouts with rowers and bikes and stuff now, or the ski erg.
They're not as bad anymore, right? Once you learn how to do them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, man. And so, I mean, those are awesome, like, positive impacts and stuff. And maybe, like, I know that, like what you talked about, your biggest challenge was kind of like the weight and also kind of recovering from your skiing accident and stuff. And then how'd that challenge kind of make you feel?
It was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I'm not a patient person, so I mean, I want to be back to normal in 6 weeks, which I thought is the way it goes. When you break a bone, you get a cast and you're recovered in 6 weeks. But it was far longer than that. So it required a lot of dedicated effort. I had to go out on the crutches, do my physical therapy, all that stuff, focus on those exercises. And but what I think made the big difference was the fact of losing the weight and doing the CrossFit, because they said, I mean, your bone's not going to recover if you sit home in bed all the time. You need you need to use it. So I think with the combination of the weight loss and more time has gone by, I'm putting less pressure on the leg too. So I think that's been really good for it. Yeah,
and also kind of strengthening the bone and the joints and stuff like that too as well.
So that's been, I think without doing this, I mean, the recovery would even take much longer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Heck yeah. And then so like how much weight have you lost?
I'm probably down about 40 pounds now. I'd like to lose about another 20, 25. I think it would be good.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens there, but I think that'd be probably a good number for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm shooting for.
And then also it's like kind of what do you feel best at, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, and it's not always like a number, because let's say if you are getting stronger and stuff, right? Your muscle weighs more than fat, and if you're gaining more muscle, and
that was wild on the last InBody, how I lost 35 pounds, but my muscle mass went up by 2 pounds, right?
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
I mean, and then as long as, if you're staying the same weight, but your muscle mass goes up and your body fat goes down.
Yeah.
Why does it matter, right?
Exactly.
I mean, because that's what you want. I mean, obviously, we're probably going to lose a little bit of pounds and stuff, losing weight. But, I mean, if your muscle mass goes up and stuff, and then the weight maybe isn't coming off as fast, that's great.
And I even noticed that I help out my son with his landscaping company a lot in the summertime. And back when I had the weight on, that was just a lot harder work, right? Since, because there's a lot of bending over, picking up stuff and all that. And since I lost the weight, that's gotten easier.
Yeah.
And now I just kind of view it as doing it for exercise to help him out. So it benefits me too.
It's just another one of you just log it as an at-home workout or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, what's funny is like, what was it? Your goal for, I can't remember how. Towards the beginning, you found out about the committed club stuff, and then your goal was to beat mom on the committed club, and then you beat her like one time, and then from there you beat her like every time since.
Yeah, that's been kind of fun. I like those sort of competitions. And then 1 month I just went every day, and I didn't end up beating her the first time. Like, how the heck did that happen? And then I'm like, Oh, yeah, she came a few extra times. She does the at-home WOD and all that stuff. I'm like, I got to step it up a little bit here.
Yeah, yeah. Like
so,
what was it? I told you that she came to like the class, and then she would usually do like open gym on Saturdays. So she get like a couple extra check-ins or whatever throughout the month. And you're like, oh, I gotta step it up.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I know, that's been fun.
It's some good motivation, right? So I mean, it's like you and her are always whenever we do the community club drawing, it's like you and her are always kind of fighting for who's gonna be the big top
it is
one.
wild. You do need to step it up a notch though. Just simply coming like, on the days of the workout, that is not enough to cut it fully. You gotta come in twice every now and then, or do something extra, right?
Yeah,
So,
sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't want to overdo it though. And then, what about some other positive impacts that you've seen? I know you said you lost the weight, you're strengthening up your leg, you gained muscle mass and everything like that. Any other positive impacts that you've seen?
Yeah,
I mean, like maybe hanging out with the community or anything like that, or
oh, it's been positive. I had a few members here comment on like that, if I'm into the 4:30 class in a while and they hadn't seen me in a while, and they're like, wow, you lost some weight there. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's encouraging hearing that, right? Because from someone other than your family, let's say.
it's like they have to say
yeah,
that.
they
about
have
you,
to
right?
say that. So at least other people notice, right?
Yeah, man.
So-
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely noticeable because I mean, I remember when you first joined, and then, like compared to now, I mean, it'd be crazy if you could get like 2 side-by-side pictures or whatever. But I mean, you definitely.
It's funny,
lost
my
a
wife
lot.
thinks the motivation is we went on that cross-country trip, and we're in Oklahoma, and we were at that this store out there, and there was an old dude that looked like Willie Nelson in there with no filter, and I was in there with Gene, and then I left, and this is before I started the weight loss, and he goes to Gene, he's like, where'd the fat guy go? So it was like, yeah.
You need to go out there and find him or whatever.
I
and-
said to her, we got to go back there with the weight loss. No, but like the fat guy's here now.
He's back.
So,
He's back. Oh, no,
Yeah.
he's still gone. He's still gone. He's not here anymore.
yeah.
That's awesome. And then something that kind of the coach wanted me to ask you and stuff is kind of like about your music background. So I know that your son and your daughter are into music. Your daughter actually plays for NC State marching band and everything. I think is Colin trying to get there possibly?
Yeah, he's in marching band too.
Okay.
We got into it in about 2012, 2013 because I always wanted to play guitar, and I'm like, I'm just gonna buy a guitar, take some lessons, see how it goes, right?
Yeah.
And we took lessons at this place in Anger, and it's kind of like the musical version of this place in CrossFit in that you can take your kids there and stuff. It's kind of a relaxed atmosphere and all that. So I would take the kids down there, and then Laura and Colin would see us playing because they would pair you up with a band, other adults and stuff like that. So they would come down and see us playing, and then Laura got kind of interested in it, and then that kind of evolved into the marching band.
Yeah.
But she's like, she really enjoys music as a hobby, so it's been pretty good, and I think it makes them like a bit more well-rounded than just one thing. So
Heck yeah.
it's been pretty good.
That's awesome. And then so do you still play guitar or have you?
I play a bit at home. One of the neighbors that we had close by, he would go to the studio too, so sometimes we get together and play. And it's mostly play, like 80s rock, 70 rock, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Stuff like Sherry plays on the music in
Yeah.
here.
At the 8:30 class. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the 80s classics. That
But
play
I just
like all the
play.
time.
I still play around with it every now and then because I got it in my room, so I'll just pick it up and look up some songs and just play a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then are you do you play like in any bands or anything like that?
Not right
or-
now, but I did. One of the things they did in our studio was that they would pair you up with other people to play with, and you do a couple of performances throughout the year. So that was fun. It was a bit time consuming, but it was fun that you'd go on a Tuesday night and play for a couple of hours with some other people. Because, playing with other people is a lot different than, just playing the guitar on your own.
Yeah.
Because you got to keep time with the drums and stuff like that. So, yeah, that was some good fun. And I still see him every now and then, and we'll play together. But I know when Laura had a graduation party and there was one of the other band dads play guitar, I'm like, yeah, you got to bring a guitar to the house because we got to play a few songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's always fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool, man. And then is there anything else that you'd like to add, let the people know about you? or anything that you want to say maybe to somebody that's interested in, or somebody that's on the fence about joining?
I would just join and give it a try, because I've seen a lot of people since I've join and kind of stick with it and grow and become better, just like I did. It's more or less the dedication to commit yourself to come at least, 3 or 4 times a week at least.
Oh yeah.
And then you will see the results. But, in combination with doing that and the diet, you really see some results then, because I found it's a lot of the stuff that involve your own body weight have gotten a lot easier for me.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
that's been definitely rewarding.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah, it's the progress, man. The progress.
It does
Keep
get
it
a little
up.
bit addictive after a while, though, because you kind of feel like, it's a Friday, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to go, but it's like, yeah, I better go. I mean, I always feel better after I come and do it. So I'm kind of glad I do force myself to come all those times.
Heck yeah, man. That's awesome. Well, Chris,
Yeah.
again, congratulations on
Thanks.
being January's Member of the Month.